after 12 years of marriage without a child. We felt an urge for a baby of our own so much that we decided to offer our services to a children's home, a baby's home, just to take care of babies once a week, help clean them, help feed them. And that was in the year 2006. We didn't know where to start with the adoption, but one day I was reading an old parent magazine and I saw a story about adoption that had been covered. And so we started asking, where could we start? So I went to a children's home, asked them where we could start. At that time, things were not very clear about adoption. But we were advised, we were told about meeting a social worker. Yeah, by then, adoption was kind of like a dark area. People would talk of adoption as buying babies. And so it was something that was not discussed a lot. So we had actually no one to ask about. But from the children's home, that was Abandoned Baby Center at Dagoretti Market, that's where we got information. And then there was the legibility. There were things they had to find out about us. By then, we were students in a Bible school. Yeah, so you can imagine we were not even qualified as such. We didn't have a job. I was assisting in a church as an assistant pastor, earning just about 2,000 shillings a month. Yes, but we felt as we prayed that it was God's will for us to have a baby boy. We had a social worker help us fill out forms at the Abandoned Baby Center, and we filled out the forms, and then now there was an issue of them now visiting our place where we were accommodated. My wife is not Kenyan, she's from Madagascar. So we had served in Madagascar for many years as missionaries. So when we came back in 2004, and then we had to now start Bible school, we were accommodated in the premises. So even when other students went home, we stayed. So that was our accommodation. It was student accommodation that the social worker came to. The day she was supposed to come to see whether we were, eligible, and of course we would not have been eligible. She was called to go to Pumwani Hospital to rescue a baby girl who had been born a week before. And that baby girl needed to be placed in a baby center with facilities that would take care of her health because she was born underage. And so ABC, or Abandoned Baby Center, had those facilities, the same place we had gone to start for the boy. And so there we were. She was supposed to come, she didn't come. I kept calling her. We are there anxious, very nervous. And at 5 in the evening, she came. And she came and she told us, wow, I've just found your daughter. So the story changed. It was not about whether our small room could fit a child, but she came with the news. There was a girl who looked so much like my wife. Brown, very tiny, but her eyes, big eyes, she just looked like my wife. And so here she was so excited, and she was not even looking at our small space. Our bank balance didn't have anything to talk about. So everything was against us adapting. So we were in that space. And so she told us, come tomorrow to the baby center. So we went. And so instead of one child, we actually applied for 2. To us, this was like mission impossible, and firstly, even one child would be so much to ask for. But now here are 2. We got a very, very wonderful Christian lawyer. Yeah, we would remember her to date. And she actually put the 2 files of the 2 kids together. And she told us, I'll do this for you as a service to God and humanity. We got a placement for the first child, who was a boy of 1 year and 3 months. We got a placement for 3 months, which is known as a bonding period, to see whether the child will bond with you, whether you bond with them. That period, a parent is allowed to give the child back to the children institution. But now for our little girl, because she was under age, and number two, there is need for parental consent because she was not abandoned. She was given up for adoption by her mother. And her mother felt she could not be able to take care of this baby. So as she started the process when she was still pregnant, and that process was finished when she gave birth, but not yet finished, because the law allows for 6 weeks for her to think through. She's given birth, that baby has been taken away from her. And so we waited now, like we always say we were pregnant with her for 6 weeks, because we didn't know what would be the outcome. The mother might say, no, I want to keep this baby. And so 6 weeks went, our hearts beating very hard, praying so hard. We have this baby boy going every week to visit his sister, his sister, because we believed that we would get both of them. So we'll take her up, bottle feed her, love her, talk to her, walk with her, but still so much afraid because we don't know what will happen after 6 weeks. The mother may not accept or give consent. But we thank God because after 6 weeks, when she was asked, she gave consent. She signed the consent form. And there we were. We got our baby girl home. We had quite an experience because not being acceptable in the society, and I being in a church that believed so much in faith that you have to pray and ask God to give you a baby and get the baby biologically, everybody kept off. They were saying that you didn't have enough faith, Pastor. Yeah, you should have waited on God more. Why did you have to go and buy children? And so to us, it was like confusing. Yeah, but ultimately, when they started to see these kids turning out to look like us, yeah, my son or our son is exactly my copy. My personality is his. He's a people person. Yeah. And physically, we look alike. When we tell somebody, they get shocked. They say, no, you are lying. Our daughter is a copy of her mom. Yeah. And my wife is an artist, Yeah, she draws, she paints. And that's what my daughter has picked up. I thank God because our relatives didn't actually push us off. Yes, they supported us. And that was a big plus for us. I remember when we went to the final court process after 1 year and 8 months, you are having the court give you the children as your own children. And it's non-reversible. And the biological parent has no right over that child anymore. When we went to court, we had to wait outside. The adoption court is actually a chamber court. It's not an open court. So we were there waiting, and there are parents who have gone in with a child, and the judge has refused them custody. They came out crying, screaming. The lady screaming. It was a terrible sight to behold. And actually, when we went in, she backed. She said, get out of my court. So we, with our lawyer, went back to the corridor to wait outside. She was still in a bad mood, and we prayed. And we waited. And then she called out in a very calm voice, come in. Now, when we came in, we got somebody totally different from the one who chased us out. When we sat down, we have now 2 kids. I have our son, and my wife is holding our daughter. My sister-in-law is here, and our lawyer is there. And she says to the judge, Your Honor, we have come to seek consent. And then she starts playing with the kids. she starts, my boy is very engaging. Our son is very engaging, very charming. So she starts playing, she gives him a pen, our daughter is there, very, and then she asked the lawyer, what are you doing in my court? And now she says, we have come for consent. And then she looks at us. She looks at the kids. She just said, go home and take care of these angels. Christine is 18 and Samuel, Caleb, is 20. Adoption has become much, much easier because there are people who have actively done activism for that. Now, when it comes to ID, we are still working on that. And I think it would be so good if the government can come in and help the parent with the process, because there's no need to put roadblocks. And yet this parent has done so much to have this child come into their life. So if it's a process of getting the birth certificate, normally what's given when one adopts is a certificate that identifies a child and you, but it's not the birth certificate as we know. So you have to apply for the birth certificate, and that birth certificate unfortunately is not the same, doesn't look the same as the other one. So there's some form of stigmatization or differentiation. So I would pray that why wouldn't it be made the same? Because a child is a child. When it comes to ID, that's something I have met personally. I had to get a letter from the school of my son so that the process could go forward, because they had to prove that this child is my child. The father is a person. It's you. It's not what you have. Yeah. And what a child needs is you.